This is Vision Customer Information System overview of goods out and ordering. As you can see, I've opened the system at the main dashboard. I'm going to select from the left hand menu the goods outwards menu and then the top option, which is enter orders. This immediately opens a new page, and this page shows unsubmitted orders. As you can see, there are many orders here unsubmitted. If an order is unsubmitted, it means that the warehouse do not have it and will not be processing it. They can, however, see unsubmitted orders on their system, but they can do nothing with them. You can see on the right hand side there is a status column. In the status column it gives you reasons why the order is held here, and awaiting payment is specifically for customers who have no credit account, where a payment is required before the order is released. On web user hold is where you've placed the order but you haven't sent it to the warehouse and you just want to hold on to it for the moment. There are other things such as incomplete detail and entry input. These relate to orders which are in the process of being input, or they're incomplete and the details are not there. Once you submit the order, you simply see them in the orders awaiting pick option. If you'd like to search for anything, you can use the search facility at the top to filter and search. We've got some options that show held and not held, and we also show recent orders, not recent orders. So you can search through the list of orders. If you'd like to add a new order to the system, it's simply a case of clicking the Add New on the top right, and this will take you through a number of screens. The first screen you see is the order type. Now, depending on the order type that you select, it will change all the stages that the order will go through and the information that's required. So the most screens you'll go through is 6. So for certain types of orders we require a lot more information than other orders. An order that's going to be duty paid delivery requires very little information. On the top you can see we've got a close button, we've got a cancel, we've got a save and hold, and we have a submit. So on this order I'm going to pick a home order, duty paid. On the right hand side here, the delivery name, it's an essential field, that's why it's got a red asterisk. So I'll just type in a name here. The auto reference, that will give your order a number automatically. If you want to use your own order numbers, you simply unselect the auto reference and type in your reference here. Or if you just want it to be a number, it can be number or a name. You'll notice that as soon as I've typed this in, the next button has gone to darker blue, which means that I can go to the next page. Because the bottom section here, your customer's purchase reference, isn't a mandatory field. It's not required to move on. But if your customer has given you a reference and told you to quote it here, then if you type it in here, it will be on the delivery paperwork. So it tends to be supermarket chains and other larger businesses that insist on you quoting their reference, which is then on the paperwork. If I move to the next stage after the order type, you'll notice at the top it's changed now. I only have 4 stages. The next stage here, I have to select how the goods are going to get to the delivery point. On this one, warehouse delivery, I can leave it, that's the default, and you can leave that and it will go through as a warehouse delivery. If it's being collected from the warehouse, you can simply select this option. You then have to specify the carrier, who it's being collected by, the vehicle registration, and the collection date and time. If you do not know the registration, you can simply put TBC, to be confirmed. The same with collection by. Obviously, if it's an underbond order, these are more vital fields because these are actually required for the customs paperwork. And the final option is the warehouse carrier on the right hand side. If the warehouse offer a parcel carrier delivery service, you can select this option and then select the carrier that's going to be used. And If you have an account set up, it will automatically fill the account code and service code fields. On this one, we're just going to pick a warehouse delivery, keep it fairly simple, and then I move through to the delivery info. And you'll notice here I now have a box that asks me to pick a pre-saved delivery address if I have one, or alternatively I can pick a postcode. So if I pick postcode of RM187NN and do a search, it will then give me a number of companies at that address. So I select the company I want, and then it's filled in a lot of the information: the address, the town, the postcode, the country. If you want to use the from and to times, you can at the bottom. There is checking on these to make sure that there's at least a 2-hour window on each one. So if I set these to be 7 o'clock to 10 o'clock, then the boxes go back to green again. Delivery instruction, contact name, telephone number, whether a booking's required or there's a specific booking date, can all be added on the right hand side, as well as the delivery service. If your warehouse offers multiple services, then you can specify it here. So that in this one there's a standard and the home service. If you want to save this delivery point, you can put a reference in, and that if you enter this reference, the next time you bring this order up for this delivery, you can then use the delivery address. Delivery point email address is below, and the security pin is the last item that's on the right hand side. The security pin is used when the customer, the warehouse, is using the handheld delivery system, and when we send the goods out, the customer receiving the goods is asked to insert the pin number that they've given you for this order before the driver makes the delivery. So in this one, I'm not going to put any delivery instructions in. I'm simply going to go to the next stage. However, you'll probably noticed at the top there are a couple of additional tabs. There's a picking information tab. So if I go to picking info, I can actually put picking instructions in. These instructions are only seen by the warehouse. They're not on the delivery note. And the other option is the duty payment. So if I have the ability to charge duty to another account, now obviously this is all test data, so it's bringing up a number of customer names, but if I've got the ability to charge duty to another account, then you will see the accounts that you've got the ability to charge duty to in the drop down box. So I don't want to change anything there, so I can simply hit the next button and then go to the product code. So I can now begin to type the product code and the description. When you enter the product code, you can simply begin starting to type the product code if you know it, or the description. So if I put in 1, 2, 3 in the product code, as long as I put 3 digits in, it will begin to look up the system to see if it can match any product codes. The same happens in a description. So if I type in RED, it will then go and find out if there's any products that have got the word red in them. I can then simply select the one that I want and enter the number of cases that I want to send, or the number of single bottles. And on some orders, especially underbond orders, a sales price is necessary in order for the transaction to complete. So it will tell you, and you'll notice there's a little I button above that gives you some more information. It's the same with here, cases per pallet, singles per case, and the single size. So the information that we bring up on the screen here is very basic, simple information that allows you to understand which product you're sending on the order. If you wanted to put a rotation number into the line, you can certainly do that. You can type the rotation number in. Again, it looks the rotation number up. If you wish to actually pick a specific rotation, you can just key the rotation number in, or in this case, I've put in the product code, it's brought up the description, and I can go to the rotation box and it will search the system to find the rotations which have stock. And you'll notice here I've got 2 rotations here. If they belong to a reserved customer, it will show you the reserved customer code. However, in this case, they don't. They're just free stock, and I can specifically pick a rotation for this order. And I'll send out the 2400. And again, the button at the end, the green button, saves. And it's now told me it's an invalid quantity, so I shall just pick a smaller quantity and save that now. So when both lines are saved here, we've got this option that we can actually delete the lines, the red, or we can edit the lines, which is the blue. If I've completely finished this order now, I can simply hit the submit button and that will send it to the warehouse. What then happens is the warehouse EDI system will pick the order up and it will send a notification back to you, which will be in the notification box and the bell at the top here. It generally takes around about 5 to 6 minutes for that to appear, and at very busy times towards Christmas that could be as long as 30 minutes because the EDI service works on a first come first base. You'll also notice there are a few other options here. You can bring up the product list or you can bring up prior orders. If you're storing the customer delivery point, then prior orders are possible, so that we can actually give you a list of what you've sent to this delivery point in the past, and the product list shows you a list of all the products. For this order, I'm going to hit the save and hold, and that's it. It's now on the list, ready to be sent through at a later time. I'm now going to create a different type of order and go into the system again. This time I'm going to create a UK warehouse underbond order. On this type of order, you don't need to insert the delivery name at this point. You just need to put your order reference if you have one, or leave it to auto, give the reference, and your customer's order purchase reference. Once you're happy with that, you move on to the next stage, which is the delivery method. We're going to say warehouse delivery, and then we move on to the delivery address. On this one, you have to select one of the delivery addresses from the list. These are already pre-approved delivery addresses for European deliveries under bond. If the delivery point is not here, you have to contact the warehouse and ask them to have it set up, which means it needs to be checked by Customs and Excise and then added to the system. On this one here, I'm just going to pick Tesco stores. It enters all the information about Tesco stores and where it's going to, and the delivery address. So this is the underbond delivery address. I then move to the next stage, which is the consignee info. The consignee info is who you're selling the goods to. So if you were sending it to a warehouse in this one, it's the Czech Republic. The consignee is Tesco stores in the Czech Republic, but it could be going to Mr. Smith from Hong Kong, but he wants it in the Czech Republic. So the consignee information is important because it is who the goods have been sold to. The previous one was where they're going to. So if I enter some details in here, and I will just pick the same postcode again as I did in the other order. So select that, and then I can move on to the next stage. And on this one here is the transporter, who's taking the goods to the next delivery point. At the beginning I said it's the warehouse, so this is exactly what's been filled in here. The transport arranger, the consignor, the consignee, the owner of the goods. If you're arranging the transport with the warehouse, then you're the owner. And you simply have to put basic information in here. Most of this information should be pre-filled for you. If it's not, you don't have to fill it, other than you have to tell us who the haulier is going to be. And then again, we're at the same stage where we're adding the products onto the order, and then at the end of it we would hit the submit button and it would be submitted to the warehouse. The final order type we're going to demonstrate is transfers, where you're transferring to another LCB customer. Again, enter the type, enter the reference, and also the customer's PO reference, and then move to the next stage. It then asks you to search for the customer, or the customer code, or the postcode. We have to have the customer code and the postcode, or the customer name and the postcode, in order to search. Now the customer name has to be at least 3 characters long. For this example, I'm going to put the customer's name as LON and the postcode as RM187NN. I'm then going to go and search, and when I hit search, it then gives me a list of all the customers that exist with that name, with LON in it, at that postcode. So, London City Bond, River Road, and I select this, and you can see it automatically fills in the receiving customer information. On the bottom right, we've got the reserve customer code. So if you're sending the goods into a reserve account within this customer, and you know the code, you can fill out the reserve customer code. If you don't know it, it's fine to leave it, because what we also ask for is who the consignee is within that. And on this one, I'll just put the name from the top right. So simply from this point we just move to the next, and then again we're just back at adding the lines onto the order. And again, add your lines on. Once you've got to the end, submit. Same process as before. So this concludes the overview of order entry on the Vision Customer Information System.